Okay guys, I want to talk a little bit about clothing today. So Mulan has kind of like a white shirt, and then she's got kind of like this red kimono thing, I think that's how you say it, over the top. So when you're adding on clothing, you have to be careful that you are not creating air bubbles. So even though the shirt is technically something that's added on, I'm going to give it that feeling by reliefing. So I've kind of drawn in the V. So this right outside here is white. So I'm going to go inside here and I'm just going to relief just a tiny little bit. And then I'm going to smooth it out to give the appearance that there is something on top of the skin without actually adding. Because again, the more you add, the more chance you have of an air bubble. And even though we're going to hollow this out, adding little bits like that, even just the tiniest little air bubble can make a big difference in what your piece looks like as far as cracks and things like that. So we want to try not to if we don't have to. So I'm just doing a little bit of reliefing in here, and I don't have to relief like the whole neck or anything like that. I'm just kind of reliefing the edge. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to kind of smooth this out right in here. And we might do what's called an undercut. So if you kind of remember back to Sculpture 1, I would actually have you guys kind of take and go back underneath. Let me find a good tool. So I think I'll just use my toothpick. And I'm going to go back underneath. So I'm not really pushing down. I'm going underneath this edge right here. And I'm just taking off some excess clay. Same thing here. I'm going to go back underneath. Okay, and again, that gives me the impression that she's got a shirt on and I didn't have to add any clay at all. Okay, so again, she's got this white shirt and then she's got this red kind of kimono jacket type thing over the top. So that I have to add. There's kind of no way to get around it. So I have another slab. I'm gonna kind of thin it out and I'm gonna put it kind of up behind my hair a little bit. And then I'm gonna cut it off. And then I need to make it look like it rounds in because it's like it's this collar that kind of comes out. So I'm going to take the edge off. Oops. So I'm just taking that edge off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Let's see. I'm going to straighten this out just a little bit. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to slip and score everything. So again, I'm going to kind of flatten this out so I can stick it underneath the hair, which I've already slipped and scored on, so you may have to mess it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to cut that off. Kind of push my hair back down. Same thing, I'm going to kind of take the edge off. That one didn't come out quite as nice, so I'm going to go back and fix this edge. Okay, now before I do any more, I don't want to put too much detail into it until I get it slipped and scored on there. So I'm going to go ahead and score this really good right here. And put some slip on it. Push that down. Same thing on this side. Put some slip in there. Okay. So now they kind of overlap a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to kind of smooth this out so to make it look like it kind of rounds. Same thing here. Just again straightening that edge. Okay, so now right here, if you can see that little part right there, I want to make it look like it goes back in because again, I want this kind of collar that's coming out to look like it kind of flaps around. So now I'm going to take my loop tool and I'm just going to kind of scoop this out a little bit. You don't have to go a long ways, just enough just to give it that appearance. And now I'm just kind of pinching a little bit. And that looks pretty good. So again, it looks like the material kind of flaps over like a collar would. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, so again, it looks like the material kind of flops over. And you get that. Now, we could do wrinkles and things like that too. So if there were any wrinkles or anything in this, or if you could see a little bit of the arm over here and you wanted to show something over there, you could add coils and stuff like that on. If you're doing, like, say this was a man and it just had like a white t-shirt on, you could do a coil right around the edge right here. Try not to add too much clay to it though, because again, we don't want to run the risk of there being any air bubbles. And this, I want to make sure that I really push down good. Okay, so again, giving that impression that the clay is, or the material, it's supposed to look like material kind of comes out and goes around. And then I might really push that down really well in the background there. Okay, and then I'll have to look at my picture and see if there's any type of design or anything like that, but if there was any type of design, I could put that on there. I can see back in here a little bit, so I'm going to go as far back as I can with my reliefing. But that gives you a pretty good idea of kind of how to do clothing. So hopefully that helps.